Hi, John. Thanks for having us back on this week's Saturday Summary. I'd like to start first by recognizing the Movember Foundation. They're the leading global organization to changing the face of men's health, and this is their annual awareness month where really they encourage men to support their cause by growing facial hair and donating to their cause. So that's the reason for my little goatee this month. And I'm hoping my little slow-growing goatee here will be quite impressive come the end of the important November initiative. Now, the rules for Movember say that I'm not allowed to grow a beard or a goatee. I'm really only supposed to be growing a mustache. Well, I guess I'll have to admit to all our viewers this week that I'm quite the rule breaker, but I guess that's just par for the course, because according to mainstream Wall Street advice, we're all rule breakers at 401k Masters and the Gebhardt Group, simply because we don't follow the traditional thinking of Wall Street's buy, hold, and hope methodology of investing. We've also seen the markets break some rules here recently. Despite a pretty quiet week on the street, the S&P's closed above its 5-day moving average now for 20 consecutive days, something it's only done 4 years in the last 20 years. And despite all of our major indicators still being positive and showing green, I can't help but look back at what history's taught me about markets like this one. The last 4 times the S&P has closed 20 straight days above its 5-day moving average. Within a month after that streak came to an end, the S&P actually saw a decline on average of about 3%. Now, I'm not trying to sound alarm bells by any means for our viewers, but investors who are thinking about a new position in the markets or with risk assets, they might want to consider the strategy I talked about in last week's summary, the idea of dollar cost averaging or systematic monthly investments. In effect, it's better to break your money up into equal amounts and invest those equal amounts over the next 6 to 12 months rather than putting it all to work at once. The big benefit to that approach is that you'd be able to accumulate fewer shares if markets were to continue to rally from here, and you'd accumulate more shares if markets actually pulled back a bit. It's the ultimate buy low strategy. So for those people, though, that are fully invested at this point, it's important that they just keep their eyes on the long term and know that we at 401k Masters and the Gebhardt Group are hand flying this thing. And we'll be ready to adjust course on a dime if our indicators tell us to. Thanks again for having me on the summary this week, John. And please remember all our viewers to support the Movember Foundation. They do great work in their efforts of raising awareness about men's health. Back to you, John.